Is no restart.
Big move in Bitcoin then, in contrast to all the notes I wrote pre-show, which were telling me that this was going to put Bitcoin under pressure.
The narrative that perhaps this launch of these political meme coins will sap flows from Bitcoin is showing us that it's really not the case this morning. If anything, it's just accelerated the momentum and the excitement around cryptocurrency under another Trump administration.
Hi, Dewald. What is all this FOMO about? Should I buy Bitcoin now?
Are you smoking your socks? You should rather watch my show. You should rather watch my show.
All right, legends. Welcome to another live show. Remember to smash up that like button on your way in. Let's do some technical analysis here. And as per the thumbnail, you guys can see that the price of Bitcoin is a little bit range bound at the moment. Just want to make sure my mic is working this time. Okay, right, legends. We are inside of this range. Okay, price is just grabbing the bottoms, grabbing the tops, and it's not really breaking out. The question is, for confirmation to higher levels, you really want to smash out of here, flip this area into support for higher levels. I think the breakout to the upside could be choppy, because we all know, okay, we get this choppiness to the upside, and we get, we take the stairs here to the upside. You take the stairs, it's going. Is it not going? Is it going to turn around? And then, when price dumps, it jumps out the window and it just zoop, it jumps out. So legends, I don't think this is potentially going to be an easy short if we lose this to the downside, because I have seen you wait for the breakout, you want to get in at the retest, and the retest just doesn't happen. Okay, it just falls, it corrects like a rocket to the downside. I think the long entry will be better to catch, because often you get the retest and the continuation, because you get that choppiness to the upside. But to the downside, you might get a very shallow retracement and continuation to the downside. And now the question is, are we going to break to the upside, or are we going to break to the downside? Okay, some of the things that I am looking at here on the 4-hour time frame. Let's zoom in here onto the 4-hour time frame. I will say hi to the community in a moment. Okay, I'm just jumping in here right at the moment. Technical analysis. Okay, some say we have not broken trend. We are chopping and chopping, and once the breakout happens, okay, so whether you have your trend, okay, I've got some alarms going off here, but whether you have your trend set on this high with this little pivot and the choppiness here at the moment, you want to break resistance. You need to break resistance to confirm momentum to the upside. You need to break out, okay, flip this area into support for continuation here to the upside. Right, getting acceptance now back below this trend. You can see we've just been holding this line ever so slightly over here. I must say, I do like this trend a little bit better. I do like this momentum trend a little bit better, right? You have closed multiple candles outside of the trend. For now, this is still bullish. And you are targeting the highs for profit-taking areas. You're targeting the highs for profit-taking areas all the way up. But the most important zone is the $95,000, $96,000 zone. I think if we're going to get a proper breakout over here, I think there's a good chance that price can accelerate up until it hits at least $95,000, right? So if, and it also makes the risk to reward better. Let me just check this out, legends. If this is a trade or a swing trade that you are currently considering, or maybe you are already in from lower levels, okay, you build your position in the zone, you're targeting $95,000. Let's just put it there exactly at $95,000. Your stop loss is all the way below the lows. The risk to reward is not good, right? It's a 1-to-1 risk to reward. So you're going to have to find a way to de-risk yourself. You might say, okay, well, I'm going to put my stop loss below this low over here, right? This little low. Because chances are you don't want to get acceptance back below the trend. And if price is going to fall here and it gets acceptance back below the trend, it's worth getting stopped out at this low. Then the trade starts looking a little bit better, but it's still, you know, a 1.72 is still not a great risk to reward. Okay. What I would rather do, legends, the risk to reward, unless you got in at lower levels, if you got in at lower levels and you still have some of that position open, then the risk to reward is definitely worth it, okay, to hold on until you hit $95,000. Right, you can see that the $95,000 area is massive resistance. Look at this, okay, if I just draw this line here, look at this, support, 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 support. Right, you can see that there's a nice line of resistance at this little pivot where price got rejected the first time. Okay, you fell down aggressively, like I said, you know, you fall out the window. When price goes down, it falls out the window. And then you did have this beautiful retest of this resistance and price continued here to the downside. So it is looking like a juicy area if price is going to continue to the upside where price could potentially stop, which will trigger then a potential shorting opportunity. So I'm just looking at the larger time frame because I do get some people in comments after the fact saying, Dewald, sometimes you only focus on the 5-minute time frame or the 15-minute time frame. It would be nice if you just cover, you know, some 4-hour, 15-minute, 1 hour, you know. So I'm going to jump around here through the time frames. Right, legends, remember to smash up that like button for the education. What do you think of opening along at $84,000? We can go look at that now. Record. We can go look at that right now. Okay, so cool, legends. I'm not sure if any one of you are in at lower levels already and you're still holding on to the position. So far, there are some bullish signs. Okay. If you use this trend, you have multiple candles built outside of the trend, which is usually a bullish sign. You are chopping sideways outside of the trend. That is something that I typically look for when I start building some positions. Okay, this is a sign of strength at the moment. You just don't want price to get acceptance back below this trend. Right, is there bullish CVD forming? What is the RSI saying? Whatever form of strength that you use becomes very interesting, because what I have seen now, let's go out even a little bit more here onto the daily time frame, right? If you connect, you know, simple, I'm starting off with simple technical analysis. When you connect this little pivot with this little pivot, well, this is where price had bounced and found support at this little trend over here. Okay, so you have diagonal support. Okay, you have broken out of a trend. Is there any other signs that shows me strength? Okay, that's the question a trader needs to ask himself. Is there strength at the moment playing this breakout? Is it worth taking the risk for this trade? Okay, the only other sign of strength that I could find, there's two more. The only other sign of strength that I could find is the RSI, the normal RSI. If I go here onto the daily time frame and I zoom into the structure ever so slightly, okay, and I look at what happened over here, you have created lower lows on price action and you have a higher high on RSI, which is referred to as a classic bullish divergence. This is a classic bullish divergence. Lower low on price action, higher low on the RSI. So, okay, there's a sign of strength. Perfect. Okay, trading outside of the trend, another tick, right? It's all about ticks. The more ticks you have, then you're starting to trade with odds. You're not trading against the odds. Okay, so you have bullish confirmation over here. You are trading outside of the trend. You are closing daily candles, which means you're closing high time frame candles outside of the trend. Okay, another tick. So we have 3 ticks so far. now switch that off, and so let me do this, right? Okay, where is that brush? Anyways, legends, I will do the 3 ticks again, okay? Also, now on the smaller time frame, what I want to see is that are we creating bullish or bearish divergence here on the local time frame? This is also something that I look for. And at the moment, we do have some on Bybit, specifically on Bybit, we do have some insane bullish CVD building up against this pivot, and CVD is absolutely just tanking here to the downside. Okay, so you guys can see there are signs of strength, right? I'm not spotting any weakness at the moment. In fact, I'm just spotting strength at the moment. So perhaps the probabilities are higher to still move to the upside based on what I'm seeing from a technical perspective. Remember, there's no emotion involved. I'm not FOMOing into a trade. I'm technically looking at everything to see if there are signs of strength or weakness. What you could also do is open up your liquidity heat map. Let's open that up. And I like model 2. And let's do the weekly time frame. Let's bring that up. Let it load, let it load. Okay. From a weekly time frame perspective, where's the most amount of liquidity? Right? It's to the upside. Let's go to another time frame. What does the 2 week say? Is there more up to the down, or to the upside or to the downside? Right? You have way more liquidity. Let me just put my face here on the other side. Is it this one? Yes, there we go. Right? You can see on the 2 weekly, on the 2 weekly time frame, you have more liquidity to the upside. Right. Now let's go to the monthly, and this is usually when I look for, especially if you're looking for a larger trade to the upside, where is the most of liquidity? So from where price is at the moment, okay, this is what I look for. Where price is at the moment, where is the closest high liquidity pool? And it is at just below 8. It's above this high. Right? So the closest liquidity pool is to the upside. So now also from a liquidity perspective, okay, it's painting this picture. I have the bullish signs on the daily time frame. I have local bullish CVD. I have the whole high time frame candles closing outside of the trend. So this is how you now start building confidence and to try and figure out, am I trading against the odds or I'm trading with the odds? Right, so for now, legends, it looks promising, okay, but we know, and that's what creates the fear of entering a trade. That's what creates the fear, is that you know that everything looks and screams towards the upside. Okay, but there's that little monster in us, or the little person on the side of your shoulder that's saying, maybe it's going to tank. What then? Right? But then how on earth are you going to take a trade? Based on what are you taking a trade? If you're not taking a trade based on technical analysis, then what are you basing your trade on? Okay. So at some point you need to pull the trigger, right? And yes, there's always the chance to break to the downside, but then that is why you have a stop loss, and that is why you should not risk more than what you can afford to lose. That is why you should not put in your entire portfolio at 10x leverage or 20x leverage. Okay. Right, legends. Now, I think what's going to become interesting now is let's now zoom into the smaller time frames, because from a larger time frame perspective, it does look like momentum potentially has a higher chance, not even potentially, based on the technicals, there's a higher chance to move up. Okay. It is what it is, right? Based on technicals, there's a higher chance to move up. Okay, so what now becomes interesting is I now want to, okay, I want to go back to the daily level, just make sure that I have all my levels marked out. Okay, this is something that I do every morning when I open up my Bitcoin chart. It's just to make sure if I'm here on the daily chart, let me go check if my daily levels are still valid. Is anything been invalidated? Or has it been fresh new daily levels? And okay, now I have all my levels. This one's been tapped, this one's been tapped, right? Fresh daily level. Ooh, there's one that I don't have. Very important. I need to have this level. I switch on my magnet and I make sure that it is snapped on. Okay. Right, so there's a daily level. So just for curiosity's sake, I want to go to the weekly time frame as well, just to make sure that I did do it correct on Monday. Okay, switch on my weekly levels. Yes. Weekly point of control, weekly level over here. Just want to make sure that this weekly point of control is where it is supposed to be. Take my fixed range profile and I snap it onto this candle. Now, my line is over here, which is actually quite ironic because this is where price is struggling to break through. I'm just trying to think why. Why, oh why, Dewald, did you get a weekly point of... It could have been Aptas. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Right? There's another site where you can get weekly and weekly point of controls from. I think I must have gotten it from there. What I also want to do is, guys, now I'm just going to pull out some tricks over here. I want to see... I want to switch this to the daily time frame. Inputs, let's make this weekly time frame and just see if I didn't maybe get it from this little tool over here. I like, if there's more than one level, I like to have them all. Okay, so this level is also here. So very interesting, legends. I'm just going to copy this level. Okay, I'm going to leave that one there. I think I got it from another site, because I can see that there's a high volume node there, and often between exchanges they will jump around. On Bybit you might have it here, on Binance you might have it at a different place. I'm just going to leave that level there because I know it's a very important level, but I'm going to switch on this level here, right? This weekly point of control. You can see that this is where price is struggling at the moment, is this weekly point of control, which I missed. But not really, because it's already been tapped multiple times. Okay, it's been claimed, and it's still acting as resistance. Price is struggling to close a high time frame candle above this level. So for now, it might make sense to leave that level there. Okay, so I'm going to switch off this little bad boy over here. I'm going to delete this, take it out, but I'm going to leave the point of control at $89,974. I'm just going to add this one here, but very interestingly, it also aligns with the range high that I have over here. Okay, when I opened up the live stream, beautiful, you can see price is struggling to break this level, keeps on getting rejected. Twice now already price got rejected at this level. So now you guys can see how strong these levels are. Okay, they are very powerful, very strong levels, and they get very well respected. Price pumped here to the upside, nice rejection to the downside. Okay, and if price is going to continue to pump here to the upside, you know, this one over here is very important to keep an eye on, because although it doesn't show that it's a point of control on my chart, I know that other charts like maybe Coinbase or another chart does have a weekly point of control at this level, which could very well be respected. So I make sure that I have that level, even if it doesn't show on my Binance chart. Okay, you might get this over here, and it presents a nice little shorting opportunity. Okay, maybe you do an RS flip, you retest this area as support, and then price continues to the upside, or it rejects again like it did over here. Okay, but you guys can see that these levels present nice little trading opportunities. Okay, right, legends, let me go through some comments before I continue here on the smaller time frame. Remember to smash up that like button. If you're not already a subscriber, what are you waiting for? This is where we do pure technical analysis. Okay, we don't use our emotions to FOMO into trades. Very interesting. I'm just spotting this now, legends. Where did we get rejected? Okay, where did we get rejected? At the trend. Look at this. One tap, two taps, rejection, failed to break out. Okay, so this trend is valid. I think if you're going to have a breakout from this trend, it might be a true breakout to the upside because it's being respected. This is what I like to see. You have a tap, and now today it tapped it again and it fell, which tells the validity of this trend line is what you want to see. Okay, legends, let me go through some comments. Let's go. Hey, Matt in the house. Looks Look, it's the legend. Matt, no, look, it looks like you are the legend, right, legends? If you have not checked out Matt's channel, you need to do so, right? You need to go and check out Matt's channel. Let me open up a fresh YouTube page over here. And Matt is one of those people that can take simple, well, complicated, let me say, complicated news, and he summarizes it in a format that makes sense. He has his own YouTube channel, absolute lots of alpha inside of here. This is my daily dose of what is going on in the crypto world from a fundamental perspective, a news perspective. If I'm not mistaken, Matt, you have had many successful shorting trades on some of the new meme coins that's been launched as well. I think a very high win rate. Can't remember the exact number. Very high win rate. But Matt, if you haven't checked him out, go and check him out, right? He has nice little short updates, 10-minute, 11-minute, 12-minute updates every single day to summarize everything that is going on in the crypto world into a nice little compact video that makes sense to understand. Okay, because some people, you know, they just talk over your head. They're throwing abbreviations and things around, and you're not sure what they're talking about. Matt has that gift to simplify everything. Right, yes sir. Are the Elliott waves failing us here? Only I know we've been expecting the retrace, which doesn't appear to be coming. Dr. Nick O. Okay, Mr. Doc, we can go and look at Elliott wave theory here now on the smaller time frame. I'm going to dive a little bit into Elliott wave theory as well to see, well, you know, can we form a higher low and continue and break out? If you do not know Elliott wave theory, you just apply your trading strategy, because this was a breakout that one of the pro members asked me about this morning. I missed it and therefore I didn't take the trade. Okay, but definitely valid. There was signs of strength. Someone in the pro member community asked me this morning. This is the breakout. Okay, there, right over there. And I was parking here on the 5-minute time frame. Right, and someone in the pro community asked me this morning, Dewald, on the 5-minute time frame, I see a breakout. Do you think it's going to continue? And I looked at it, I was like, I think there's a high chance it's going to continue. It broke out, it retested, price was trading here, and before I could, you know, I wanted to catch the retest. If I was in front of the chart and I saw that beautiful little retest, hell yes, okay, and I would have had a relatively tight stop loss because you don't want price to get acceptance back below the trend. Okay. I would not have placed my stop loss here because of the steepness of the trend. I know if you're going to get acceptance back below, there's a high chance to come and claim the lows. So you want to have a relatively tight stop loss below the trend so that when it gets acceptance back inside, you get out. Okay. And right, and I missed the retest, so I told the legends I'm not taking the trade, but I do think it has a high chance of moving to the upside, which it did, and then it rejected by this trend over here. Right, so legends, without going into any Elliott wave theory, you can apply your trading strategy. Okay, you do not need to know Elliott wave theory, because even Elliott wave theory can become confusing at times. You have a bullish scenario, you have a bearish scenario, you might have 2 bullish and 3 bearish scenarios, and then they need to start invalidating itself, okay, so that you can determine which one has the highest probability. Okay, so what is very interesting about Elliott wave theory for me is on the smaller time frames, because I can trade these little structures to the upside and to the downside. I can trade these little structures, okay, like a pro, to the upside and to the downside based on what I'm seeing inside of these little structures. 5-wave structures, 3-wave structures. Are the 3-wave structures to the upside? Are they to the downside? Increasing probabilities to still go down. Okay, so very interesting. I still love Elliott wave theory in combination with my trading strategies. I watched all Matt's videos, my favorite short expert. Yes, Matt is absolutely nailing the shorts inside of his channel. Definitely go check Matt out. Okay, 12 out of 13, Matt. There we go. The legend himself, 12 out of 13 is absolutely amazing. I mean, that is an insane record. Okay, 12 short trades out of 13 has played out to perfection. And I believe people has made some insane money with the short trades that he has been calling. Dewald, can you please check Pi, right? I will do some altcoin requests later, right? I want to focus here on Bitcoin. This is a Bitcoin channel, the king of crypto. This is where I do 95% of my trading. I do have a spot bag. I do trade altcoins from time to time. I do open up swing positions, but it's not the time for me to do that just as yet. So I'm focusing here on Bitcoin, but I will definitely take some requests if there's time after the stream. Right. I love watching videos, Matt. Thank you very much. Irina is such a great supporter. Thank you so much, Irina. Welcome here to the live stream. Always great to see you here. Right, Elliott wave theory is rubbish, with all due respect. Wahep? Well, that's your point of view, okay? I cannot change your point of view. Some people think trend lines are a bunch of rubbish. Some people think swing failure patterns are a bunch of rubbish. Some people think Elliott wave theory is a bunch of rubbish. But, you know, I like to say don't diss it until you've tried it. I think there's a lot of people that say Elliott wave theory is rubbish because it takes a lot of work and a lot of studying and a lot of practice to perfect it. And some people are just not willing to put in that work because you need to go and study it. You need to go and practice it. You need to make notes. You need to, it's a very difficult, it is really difficult. Well, it's considered even one of the most difficult trading strategies in the world from a trading perspective. Okay, so I feel you. Elliott wave theory is rubbish with all due respect, but that's your point of view, okay? And each person is how can I say it? Each person is can have their own point of view. If you think it's rubbish, then it's rubbish. Then maybe something else works for you. Okay, I'm not going to try and defend Elliott wave theory, not at all. What I try and do here on the channel is speak about many different things. If Elliott wave theory sticks to you, okay, then by all means, go for it. If Elliott wave theory doesn't resonate with you, then, you know, don't use it. Right, but Wahab, let me know in the comments which trading strategy resonates with you, okay? Might not be Elliott wave theory. Okay, so legends. Now, this little local structure that we have formed here to the upside, 100k or 70k, Dewald, what do you think is the most likely scenario for BTC? Matt, as per the beginning of the live stream, I told everyone, from a technical perspective, it looks like up to $95,000 is the most likely scenario. And it's purely just based on technicals. When you look at RSI divergence, when you look at CVD, when you look at multiple time frame candles closes above the trend. So purely when you look at the technical bullish signs, it looks like 95k is the highest probable scenario. But that's why we trade with stop losses, because we know the market is here to surprise us. So purely from a technical perspective, I would say not 100k, I would say 95k is potentially up next before 70k. Right? Let's see how that plays out. And it's legends. It's not because I want 100k or $95,000. I need to follow the technicals. I'm a technical trader, and you need to be able to take technical trades using technical analysis. Right, but if the risk to reward doesn't make sense, like I've highlighted on the 4-hour time frame, if the risk to reward does not make sense, don't take the trade. Because you need to apply your trading rules regardless of what technical analysis are telling you. Okay. Cool, legends. Hi, Dewald, let's go. Yes. 20 and 200 MA strategy. Yes, I do know a lot of people have great success with moving averages. I have seen it. It's just not me. Okay. And yes, the same, like some people are saying Elliott wave theory is not for them. I can't say that moving averages is a bunch of rubbish. I can't say that. All I can say is it doesn't work for me. It doesn't suit my personality, and it doesn't suit my trading style. I don't need moving averages to take successful trades. Does it work? Yes. It's just not for me. Okay. And I think the same thing for me is about Elliott wave theory. You can't say Elliott wave theory is a bunch of rubbish. It might just not be for you. Okay, so I don't like to diss any trading strategy, because some people, the D-line strategy that I often speak about, okay, some people hate this. They hate the D-line strategy. They say it doesn't work. Break off trend doesn't work. It's too simple. It's for retail. It's for dumb traders. I can tell you guys now that there are two very, very successful traders that make loads of money. Okay, loads of money, only using trend lines, support and resistances. They don't know anything about Elliott wave theory. They don't care about Elliott wave theory. They don't use Fibonacci's. They don't use harmonics. They don't use volume candles. Nothing. They just use trend lines, support and resistance. And they are successful in trading. Both of those people do have YouTube channels. I'm not going to mention any names over here, but some of you might know who I'm talking about. Right, so legends, it's not about how simple the trading strategy is. It's about how the rules that you build around that strategy that keeps you successful. And every time you execute a trade, you stick to the rules, you're going to have a situation where if your risk to reward makes sense at every single trade, you're going to get stopped out, guaranteed. Every single trader gets stopped out. Okay, but when you win, it pays back the stop loss and puts money back into your account. So even if you have a win rate, okay, a lot of people don't believe me. Even if you have a win rate of 50%, it can even be lower. If you have a win rate of 50%, because I see people that copy traders, they look at this. And if the win rate is not 100%, they don't follow the person. I can have a win rate of 50% and still be profitable. I can have a win rate of 40% and still be profitable. It's not the win rate that makes you successful. Okay? It is your risk to reward that makes you successful. Because if you have, let's do this. Let's just make this smaller over here. Okay, so let's do this. 2 to 1. Okay. If you lose one of these and you win one of these, you are still profitable. Okay, if you lose, so if you have a 50% win rate, because every time you enter a trade you get stopped out, and then the second time you win, you get stopped out, you win, you get stopped out, you win, you will still be a profitable trader because of that. Because when you win, you make 2 times the amount of money. And when you lose, you only lose 1 times the amount of money. So even if you have a 40% win rate, you can still be a profitable trader, making sure that you only enter trades with at least a 2 risk to reward ratio. I hope that makes sense. This is not important, guys. So when you go and follow those copy traders on some of these exchanges, don't focus on the win rate. You know, you need to focus on the R&R. Are they making money? Okay, because you could have someone that has a win rate of 10%, but they're making insane money and you don't understand why. What the hell? They have a win rate of 10%, but it might be a trader, and there's actually a podcast about a very famous trader. I'm not sure if you guys know the podcast. I can't remember the name of the guy. I'll try and find the podcast and post the link. There's a podcast about a very famous trader that had a win rate of 10%. Okay? But he was insanely profitable because he had this, right? I think it was 8 or 9. Let's just put it on 8. Okay? He lost a lot of trades. Stopped out. Stopped out. Stopped out. Every time he gets stopped out. But that 10% of the time when he wins the trade, he gets a massive risk to reward. I can't remember what the risk to reward was. He makes back all the stop losses and he has massive profits in the account. I can't remember what the risk reward was, but it was quite high. I don't even think it was 8. I think it was higher. Right? So he kept on losing, but he stuck to his rules. I'm only allowed to enter this amount. You know, I have to follow my rules for the strategy. He was a very bad trader. Okay, if you think about it, he kept on just losing. What made him good? So maybe his technical analysis was bad. Okay, but he was still a good trader in the sense of he stuck to his rules from a risk management perspective. He did not deploy more cash. He did not increase his leverage to try and revenge trade. If he was trading with $10, he stuck with every time he enters $10, $10, $10. But when he won those 1 or 2 trades after he's lost 10 or 12 trades, he made back all his money and put money into his account. Okay. But I guess, guys, all I'm trying to highlight over here is the fundamental of how important your risk to reward is. It is not the win rate that determines whether you're a successful trader. Okay. Right, legends, currently breaking here to the upside. And I mean, you can go... Guys, you can go and scalp these little smaller time frames. If you can go and apply your trading strategy. The best advice that I can give any trader starting out, okay, the best advice I can give any trader: trade the 1 minute and 2 minute time frame. And you might be saying, Dewald, you're absolutely crazy. All the patterns, every single Elliott wave scenario, the D-line strategy, volume strategy, every single pattern that you can think about happens way quicker here on the smaller time frames, okay, than on any other time frame. If you are going to start learning to trade on the 4-hour time frame, you might get 1 or 2 trades in a month, 3 trades in a month, maybe 4 trades in a month. If you're going to trade the 1-hour time frame, you might have 2 trades a week. If you're going to trade the 1 minute or the 2 minute time frame, you might have a couple of trades a day, and that is how you learn. So if you want to learn and practice your trading strategy, I recommend that you stick to the smaller time frames, because the patterns or the strategy that you are practicing plays out a lot quicker, which means that you are learning a lot quicker. I hope that makes sense. Right, legends. I know it goes against what most people teach and what most people advocate, okay, but I can tell you now, the smaller time frames, okay, there was a D-line strategy, okay, maybe there was some volume breakout. I can also count a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, there's Elliott wave theory. Inside of this little structure, everything already happened that takes months to play out on the daily time frame. So if you're going to practice to trade on a daily time frame, how are you going to learn if you haven't lost 100 trades? How are you going to learn if you haven't won 100 trades? And the quicker you can fast track that process, the better. And where better to do it? On the smaller time frames. Okay, cool, legends. I mean, there's now a breakout, right? You could have played the D-line strategy over here. Beautiful. You play the breakout and look at how tight the risk management is. Okay, because inside of the structure, you can now already identify support and resistances. Okay, here is, look at this. This is clear resistance over here. So that needs to be a profit-taking area. Okay, you play the breakout, you put your stop below the low, you target the high, you take profits, you either close your position, maybe you leave some open for higher levels. It's not about making money. It is about practicing your trades to see how many you win, how many you lose. Does your risk to reward make sense? Okay, it's about practicing your trading strategy. Because some people will tell me, Dewald, this move is not worth it. I'm not going to make any money. Well, you need to go and practice your trading strategy in order for you to make money. Right, legends. I hope what I've said over here makes sense. And right, legends, also remember the links for the exchanges that I use is down in the description. These deals, guys, are not going to last forever. Do you guys remember the $100 for free on weeks? Everyone went ballistic. Okay, then it was 50% deposit bonus. Everyone went ballistic. It is now 20%. Yes, it might sound bad, but maybe in a couple of months it's going to be 5%. And and these will be the best that the exchanges has to offer. For now, it is still 20% on the money that you deposit in your features account. It is the same for weeks, and it's the same for bluffing over here. All you need is an email and a password to sign up with both of these exchanges. On weeks, you also get 25% discount on your trading fees. It really makes a big difference, especially if you're scalping these small little moves that I've just shown you over here. Right, legends. And then, they have that sexy Ferrari. Okay, if you want to win a Ferrari, There's the link. Go and join this event. The more you trade, basically, the more prizes you can win, and you will also qualify to be a winner or in the competition to win this little Ferrari. Well, a big Ferrari. If you want a Ferrari in your driveway, right, this is where you do it. Yeah, on Weeks. Links down in the description. Okay. Cool. 10,000% relate to that. Alex B. Just starting out and using 1 minute and 2 minute time frame. Oh, you're talking about the smaller time frame. Yes. Alex, I know. I guys, I have done many crypto courses and trading courses. I've done many of them. Right? I can tell you guys, half of them are not worth even close to the money that you pay for those crypto courses. The most expensive crypto course I have ever done cost me $6,000. And it was also the crypto course where I was the most disappointed in the content. I couldn't believe that someone can charge $6,000 for a crypto course that actually taught me nothing. I already knew what was inside the course. I was really frustrated. I asked for a refund. I fought with the people. I said, you're not teaching me anything new. Anyways, it is what it is, right, legends? That's years ago when I did that. But most trading courses will teach you to focus on the larger time frames. Most, because there's that theory that says that the technical analysis becomes more accurate on the larger time frames. And yes, I agree with that, okay? But you also get fake outs on the daily time frame. You also get fake outs on the 4-hour time frame. You also get diagonals that forms and patterns that forms on the larger time frames that gets invalidated. You also get head and shoulders on the daily time frame that doesn't play out. I think the reason why people say that the higher time frames are more accurate, because if you have 1,000 head and shoulder patterns play out on the 1 minute time frame in a year, but you only had 2 on the daily time frame and they both play out, I think it's actually exactly the same thing, because I think if you have to go and compare 1,000 head and shoulder patterns on the daily time frame, I think you will see the same amount of fake outs versus the 1 minute time frame. I think it's just because it happens quicker, you see a lot more of the fake outs on the 1 minute time frame. That is my theory, at least. Right, legends, but if you want to fast track your trading career, if you want to fast track your learning process, go to the smaller time frames. It happens quicker. If you only have 1 hour or 2 hours a day to sit in front of the charts and practice your strategy, man, go to the 1 minute time frame. If you play bull flags and that's your strategy, there's many bull flags on the 1 minute time frame. Okay, if you're playing Elliott wave theory, there's many 5-wave structures and 3-wave structures on the 1 minute time frame. Okay, if you're playing break of trend, go practice them on the 1 minute time frame, because you can then, once you've successfully mastered your strategy and you can consistently show profits and your R&R is increasing, you can then say, okay, well, I only have time to trade twice a week. Then you can say, okay, I'm going to pick the 1 hour time frame, and now I'm going to apply the trading strategy that I have mastered inside of the smaller time frames. And it just takes longer to play out, but then the movements are a lot bigger, so you make more money. Okay. Right, legends, I want to go back here to if you look at 4-hour time frame, we have created a flag. Yes. Okay. This is what people are calling, okay, this could be a bull flag to the upside. It's consolidating, it's finding its feet, it's resetting the RSIs, your signs of strength. And there's a chance that it, I wouldn't be surprised, legends, if it does this, it retests the trend and then it bumps up, it jumps up. But I don't want it to get acceptance back below the trend. I wouldn't be surprised if we get that little wick to the downside, because I can imagine, a lot of people are most probably building positions inside of this range. And most of them most probably have their stop losses here below this low. Okay, we should not lose the range. How often have you seen that little bit of that liquidity grab? It stops out everyone that built their positions in here. It stops all of them out, and then woo, it continues here to the upside. Right. Let's go back here onto the 5-minute time frame. I just want to see something over here. Right, legends. Yesterday, I want to switch on some levels. Let's switch on the point of controls. Let's switch on the daily levels. I want to see if I have some areas of confluence over here. So we do have a fresh daily level here at the bottom. Can you guys see? We have a fresh daily level here at the bottom. If price decides not to break out yet and it comes back down, I'm looking for a long here by the daily level at $83,608. I just want to see confluence. Right, it also has perfect confluence with the 786. I know that there's a chance to front run this daily level, but yes, I like confluence like this. When you have a daily level and a Fibonacci level married, yeah, you know, it's like the stars aligning over here. If we do get downwards momentum, okay, because I also acknowledge that you can swing failure those little lows and find support inside of the golden pocket, right, and then get the bounce back to the upside. But this looks like a nice little longing opportunity. To the upside, we still have that point of control that I spoke about yesterday. Ever so slightly got front run, and then we fell to the downside. Remember what I said, legends, for bullish momentum to continue to the upside, looking at this structure, because we were looking at this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I needed another 4 and a 5. This is why I was looking for a short in this area. Then you have a high chance of creating a higher low in this zone and continuing to the upside. We didn't get it. We didn't get the grind, as I explained. You're basically looking for the grind on the downside. You're looking for the push to the upside, and you need to see the grind to the upside. You need to see that. It needs to copy itself. What it did over here, it needs to do here. And we didn't get the grind. We fell down aggressively when Jerome Powell started talking. Okay, so this structure could have, if it did this and it then rejected, there was a much higher chance to shoot like a rocket here to the upside. Okay, so the bullish structure did not play out. And I did say yesterday in the stream as well, guys, if we're going to fall, I think we were trading over here, and I said, guys, if we're going to fall from where we are, I think it's going to get aggressive to the downside. I was expecting the lows to be claimed. So, I mean, the support just held beautifully. You created another higher low over here, but the fall was still quite aggressive here to the downside. Okay, so, right, legends. Now, the question is, what is happening here more locally? Okay. I think I want to see if that TP area was hit. I'm just doing some trend-based FIB extensions. 786. Look at where you got the rejection as well. So, you know, you've got the diagonal resistance, but look at this as well. So this trend-based FIB that I have to the upside is valid. Okay, so if price continues, so this is now something that I look at. If I take a FIB from the low to the high of the structure, no Elliott wave theory yet. This is just a Fibonacci pool. You take a FIB from the low to the high of the structure. Okay, and then you observe to see, do you get a reaction at each level? Yes, you got a reaction at the 0.618 and you got a rejection from the 786. Then it becomes very important that if price continues to the upside, you watch these levels, because you could potentially reject and just fall down and come and claim the low again. These becomes resistance areas. It becomes shorting opportunities. And you can see how well this FIB pool is now being respected. It got the rejection at the 786. So if price continues to the upside, keep an eye on the 1-to-1 extension. If it continues, 1.236. And look at where the 1.618 is. So if this structure is going to find the strength to explode here to the upside, it might be another fake out. If this is creating a 1, 2, 1, 2, and it's just going to extend here to the upside, it actually looks like a nice little 1, 2 because it's contracting. Okay, the 1.618 is at that weekly level that I spoke about just before, you know, when I started the live stream. It's also considered a maximum target. So if this is going to turn out to be an A, B, C, or a 1, 2, 3 here to the upside, okay, that is a target that you need to pay attention to, but you can reject a little bit lower. Right, so just to make the shorting opportunities a little bit easier if we do continue momentum here to the upside. Right, that's what I like to see, and we have short-term liquidity building up at 82,900. You're talking about that little sweep here to the downside. Yes, legends, another thing that I'm just keeping an eye on over here, okay? So let me clean up the chart. Okay, I want to show you guys something. Let's switch off the levels and let's go on to the 1 hour time frame. Okay, now let's speculate. What if the structure is a bullish structure? What if we are going to go to $100,000? Okay, what if the low is protected? What if the low is protected? And this was the top, and this is part of a corrective structure. Okay, remember, corrective structures can take very long. And they can even be longer than the impulse. No problem, they can be longer than the impulse. This correction at the moment has been very sideways. A very, very sideways corrective structure. But remember, the most important thing about a corrective structure after you've made a high is time, not how deep it goes. Time is more important in a corrective structure than how deep the correction goes. Some people often confuse the two. Oh, we had a fall here to the downside. I'm longing like a crazy person. And then the 0.382 is over here somewhere. And then they start longing. It goes up and then it makes another low. Okay, because it wasn't time yet. There has to be a balance between the impulse and the corrective structure. So from a timing perspective, taking a flip from the low to the high. Okay, at least. We made these lows after the 0.382. So if we are going to get a sideways corrective structure, it can pump at any moment because we have passed the minimum requirement for this impulse. Okay, this impulse has passed the minimum timing requirement. And this is one of the big mistakes that a lot of traders do, is that they see an impulse to the upside, it starts correcting itself, and they long like crazy people over here. It's not time yet. It's not time. Okay, now you can say, okay, it's time. It's past the minimum requirement. But just to give you guys an idea, this corrective structure can continue up until even the 2 extension. It's very normal to have longer corrective structures. It's not normal to have a short corrective structure before this little line over here. It can even extend to the 3. And this is usually when I'm like, okay, it needs to do something now. Otherwise, the impulse is going to get invalidated. If it doesn't break up now, once it gets to the 3, I start getting worried. Because when it goes to the 4, then probability starts shifting. Then maybe this is an A wave. Then I start thinking about A waves. This is a B wave. You're going to make a C and you're going to fall down and come and claim the lows again. So the structure then becomes corrective and not impulsive. Timing is very important. So what I want to highlight over here, legends, is simple. Okay, the correction can still continue until the 18th of April. It can still continue until the 24th of April. Maximum target for this correction is the end of April. Okay, I don't want it to see go past the 3 and touch the 4. Okay, it becomes very it doesn't look sexy anymore. But also I want to add to what Mr. Doctor said over here, $82,900. There is still, okay, if the correction is still going to continue, remember there's still a chance that it goes sideways. Maybe it rejects there, that by that 1.618 that we just looked at, maybe it rejects there and the correction continues, and it can go down. It can come and tap the trend here at the bottom, right? Oh crap, okay, we're going down, we're losing momentum, price is rolling over, and then all of a sudden it just it lifts off. Okay, I mean, it can even go to, guys, it can even go to $79,000 easy without invalidating the structure, as long as it stays above the trend. So you can imagine if it keeps on doing this here against the trend to the downside, it can even go here to $77,000 without getting invalidated. You just don't want the retracement to go deeper than the 786. Okay, it should not go past $77,000. Because if this is going to be a bullish structure that takes us to $100,000, you want this level to be the maximum bullish level. Okay, we have not even tapped the 382 yet. So the one thing I want to highlight that concerns me a little bit, but it's not an invalidation, okay, is this impulse to the upside did not hit a minimum FIP retracement target. This is the minimum major requirement. This FIP level that got tapped here multiple times already, the 0.236, is a retracement target, but it's rare. So there's a chance that it can bounce. But at least you did tap a level. It's not a good level, but at least you tapped a level. This is usually the minimum major target that you want to see hit. So if price maybe rejects there by that 1.618, it comes down and it taps $81,800. This little level over here, that I think, you know, then I'm going to be like, okay, now it becomes interesting, because now you have claimed all the liquidity. There were so many people building their positions over here, just building, you know, add a little bit, expecting $100,000. Okay, it would be nice. Let's go sweep them out, tap the 0.382, even the 50%, doesn't matter, right? And then you get continuation back to the upside. Right, legends, there is bearish case scenarios where we take the lows. Just remember, guys, there are bearish case scenarios where we take the lows. Okay, this could be a WXY, Y that ended over here or ended over here. Okay, A, B, C. No, it needs to end over there. So this could be a WXY, a corrective structure to the upside that can come and claim the lows. But there's a lot of bullish signs that I think not many people are talking about. Okay, and we went through all those signs together during the beginning of the live stream. Okay, it's not over until it's over. It's not over until the structure gets invalidated. You have a 5-wave structure. This could all be part of a corrective structure that continues to the upside. And it has not been invalidated. We have not even tapped a minimum target from a retracement perspective. So how can people turn bearish if you have not even tapped a minimum bullish target? Okay. Right. The low after 382 is higher low of the correction. Okay, what is the low? Dimitri, the low that after 0.382 low is the correction. You think this is the correction? Is that what you're saying? The low that after, yeah, this could be. So legends, the most bullish case scenario is that we do not come and tap this level. We do not claim the liquidity below the lows. So, okay, I just need to put it out there. There is an insane bullish case scenario as well, where you have formed a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was a simple ABC. A, B, C, which is referred to as a running flat. A running flat basically means that the B claimed the high of your 5, but the C did not claim A. So a normal flat, the most common flat that everyone sees play out almost every single day, okay, is a flat. When your B claims the high of the 5, the C claims the low of the A. It didn't happen. That is called a running flat. So there's a chance that this ABC is done. And whatever is happening over here is going to shoot here to the upside. It just has to be said. There's also something that I'm looking at over here. I don't actually want to talk about it because they have such low probabilities of playing out. But let me just point it out to everyone, okay? Guys, I'm not saying that it's definitely going to happen. This to me looks a little bit like a diamond pattern. This to me looks a little bit like a diamond pattern. When I start comparing this to some other charts, when I look at ETH, this also looks like a diamond pattern to me, a reversal pattern, highest amount of volume inside of the middle. Can it be? Guys, these patterns have extreme low probability of playing out, but it looks like a reversal is taking place over here. Okay. Say I just had a fake out there from the trend. There also looks like a little bit of a diamond-y pattern over here. Okay, I was just looking at some of the altcoins and I was like, oh, that also looks like a diamond pattern to me. But I think ETH was the most intriguing to me. I was looking at the structure on Bitcoin. I was like, yes, it's an ugly diamond pattern, but it looks like a diamond pattern. Okay, they are very ugly, but they have low probability of playing out. So all I'm trying to say here, Legends, is, well, you maybe have a diamond pattern over here. You do have a C wave that can come to an end in an A, B, C. I can clearly count a 3-wave structure in an A. I can very clearly count a 3-wave structure in a B. And believe me or not, there is a clear 5-wave structure in the C to the downside. Absolutely magical 5-wave structure here to the downside. Okay. In a C wave. And this could explain why we're not taking this low. It could explain every time just before you claim this low, price bounces. Every time just before it bounces. It could explain maybe this low is protected. There's a chance. Okay, if I take something that I want to show everyone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a clear 3-wave structure. I think what makes these structures so interesting to me is that Elliott wave theory also teaches you about the look and feel of a structure. It needs to look sexy. What do I mean by, Dewald, you're talking about sexy structures? Yes, I am. Okay, if I switch on the lines for this little 5-wave structure to the downside, it looks nice. It looks like it's balancing. You have this nice round curvature. Okay, you have this nice round curvature. It's a beautiful structure. Yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, when we thought, well, what if we still need a 4th wave and this was number 3 and we're still going to get a 4 to the downside? Can you see how wonky the structure looks? It looks out of whack. What is this? It doesn't look pretty. It looks like you have this zigzag and then up, and the structure doesn't look pretty as if I put the 5-wave over here. So Elliott wave theory goes into detail about if the structure doesn't look right, it's most probably not the structure that you are looking at. Okay, so there's a chance that the 5th wave is in over here. This was 4, this was 3, this was 5. Now that looks better. It's so nicely in balance. Okay, you can clearly see the impulses to the downside. Impulse, correction. Impulse, correction. Impulse, done. Then you start finding your feet and you build this confusing structure where we are in right now. Okay, but if it's a diamond reversal, would that be lead from above or lead from below? I would say it's going to shoot to the upside. A good question, but I would say it's because if you look at ETH, for example, price came from the downside. And maybe this is the reversal for price to go back to the upside. Right? This C wave. So this could be the reversal. You know, guys, I'm just speculating. This diamond, this little diamond could be the reversal because the low is now in and now price needs to find its feet back to the upside. Okay, who knows? Legends, what I do want to say is diamond patterns have a 51% probability of playing out. So please don't think that this diamond pattern is set in stone. We're only going up from here. They have a 51% success rate. I do not trade diamond patterns, but it's interesting to look at them, especially on ETH. It looks really like a diamond pattern, but they have a 51% probability of playing out. But what I can tell you guys is if ETH successfully breaks this trend, I'm going to be interested in this trade. Hasn't broken yet. Okay. Let's see if, you know, the closest trend line strategy that we have at the moment is this little one over here. Okay. If you want to try and catch this long over here, you're going to have to try and zoom into the 1 minute time frame and have another trend over there. If you want to try and catch the breakout before the breakout and have a better entry, you're going to have to zoom into the smaller time frames. Okay. Right, I think what would be a bearish sign, because we broke out from this trend. I think what would be a bearish sign if you get acceptance back below this trend. I think that's going to be bearish. So you want price to find support and not lose this trend. Okay? Because getting acceptance back below this trend, and this is just trend line strategy, education. If you get acceptance back below the trend, you increase the probabilities of taking that low. Okay. So there could be a nice little trend forming over there, and you can play that breakout. If it gets acceptance back below, guaranteed to almost take that low over there. Right, because guys, there's still the chance to take the lows. Remember, there's still a chance to take the lows. What I'm trying to do over here is to say that, well, where are the longing opportunities to the downside and where are the shorting opportunities to the upside? Right, what else? What else? I had a look at Bitcoin dominance. I mean, Bitcoin dominance, for those of you that are still interested in alts, there's not a lot of alt people out there at the moment. Okay, everyone is just licking their wounds. You know, we have to acknowledge that Bitcoin dominance is hitting resistance. It is hitting resistance over here. That's why we got that massive wick on the weekly time frame. It is hitting resistance. So there's a chance that it could double top over here, okay, in that local structure and not break through and reject to the downside. The strongest area, or the last area of strong support to the upside, is at 72%. Okay, after this, if dominance breaks out here, it could start accelerating to the upside because there's not a lot of resistance. This you can see here, you've got an order block, you've got resistance, and you've got resistance. So to the upside, you know, this resistance needs to hold if we're going to see any altcoin season or alts doing some magic to the upside. Or it's either going to get here to 72% or it's going to create a double top here on the smaller time frames, failing to break out. Okay, so if I go here onto the 12-hour time frame, basically what you would like to see is a double top. You want to see a double top. Okay, and you want dominance to lose this trend. It's very steep, by the way. Very likely that it could lose this trend. So dominance maybe struggles. As soon as it loses this trend, it has to lose the lows. That's the target, because it could come down, create a double bottom. But I mean, that could still be very insanely bullish for some of the altcoins. This is already where you're going to see 20, 30, 50% pumps on some of the altcoins. Just this little movement here to the downside. If it can claim the lows, break down properly, claim the lows, there's a chance. You know, it's going to start rolling over and making lower highs and lower lows. Right. So where's more liquidity, up or down? Most of the liquidity, Gupta, most of the liquidity, during the beginning of the live stream, we had a look at liquidity. Most of the liquidity is to the upside. Okay, Dewald, would you consider this to be a descending channel? On Bitcoin, descending channel. Kevin, are you talking about like the 4-hour larger time frames, the descending channel? Not sure which time frame you're referring to. On BTC, yes, on BTC, but which time frame? Check, BTC is moving. Yes, it's moving ever so slightly to the downside, but I mean, that could now be a nice little trend forming over there, okay? Which I like better. You could now be forming a little bit of a trend over here. Okay. So this could now, you know, do you all know this pattern? You see the pattern? Do you all know this pattern? This is a bullish pattern, as long as it doesn't get acceptance back below this trend. If it can dance around inside of this zone, there's a high chance that it can break out and claim the high. Okay, if it gets acceptance back below the trend, it's going to come and claim this low. Then we have that daily level that I highlighted. Okay, then I'm looking for a potential long at the daily level. Here we go. Right. Daily level at $83,608. So I have to have a longing plan and I have to have a shorting plan. It's just, you know, if you just have a long plan and price does the opposite thing, you're not going to trade. Right, I have a longing plan over here. I have a longing plan over here. I have a longing plan over here. I have a shorting plan at the high and at the fib extension levels that I've highlighted to everyone. Okay, these levels are going to be very important for me to monitor. When you take a fib from the low to the high to the low. Right, I'll tell you guys now, okay? These fib levels, very important levels. From the low to the high to the low. Right, so also shorting opportunities. I see $86,000, 145, looks very interesting. Right, I have a person, I'm not sure. I have a person that comes in every single live stream. He dislikes the video and then he runs away. And I don't know who it is. I don't know. Someone is just really trying to hate on me. But anyways, guys, remember to smash up the like button. Okay, I always have one person that dislikes the video and then he runs away. I'm not sure. Someone is hating here on this channel. But I mean, it's part of the game, right? You have your loyal community and you'll always have haters. It's just part of the game. Right, legends, but remember to smash up the like button because at least 99.9999% of you guys do like and enjoy the content and the education that I provide over here, and I'm truly grateful and humbled and appreciate the support that you guys provide here on the channel. Okay, right, legends, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to educate. I'm trying to shower you with all the knowledge that I have accumulated over the years, right? So that you can apply this to your own trading strategies. And hopefully you learn something here that you can say, yes, you know, I needed that. And I'm going to incorporate it as part of my trading strategy. Yes, doctor, I don't know why. It's quite funny that someone feels the compulsive need to do that. Yes, you know, I've watched this person, and it's always towards like, you know, deep into the live stream. Someone pops in, and they come and dislike the video, and they pop out. Every single live stream, the last 2 weeks, someone has been, they just come in to dislike the video, and then they leave. I don't know why they do that. Right. Dear brother, I'm exploring a long-term investment in Tau. Could you share your insights on this cryptocurrency? I understand it has a similar total supply to Bitcoin. Tau? It has a similar supply to Bitcoin? Oof, okay. Right, it's your neighbor. Maybe it is. I don't know. The neighbors are at work, right? I'm working from home here. Thank you, Dewald. Absolute pleasure. Legends, I don't know if I want to go do some altcoin requests because as soon as I jump into an altcoin, the people just drop off the stream. I don't think it's time to do that yet. Unless what I can do is, okay, maybe I'm going to do this. This is going to work the best. I'm going to do a live stream just for altcoins. And you guys can give me every single altcoin. And who doesn't want to watch it, they don't even have to join the stream. How does that sound? I will put on the thumbnail, this is an altcoin live stream, bring me all of your requests. So that if someone wants technical analysis on Bitcoin, they mustn't even bother to come and join the live stream. So I will commit to doing that. Right, but it is really, guys, you know, if you start learning about the YouTube algorithm and those type of things, when I'm doing technical analysis on Bitcoin and I have a nice little audience and everyone is engaged and watching, and I talk about something like an altcoin that no one else is interested in and the viewers drop, it's really bad for the YouTube algorithm. Okay, so I try to manage those aspects as well. You know, I'm just being transparent with you, what I'm experiencing from a YouTube perspective. Okay, right, BTC is king. I know, BTC is king. So what I do commit to doing over here for everyone, okay, for everyone, I will do a altcoin live stream. So keep an eye out on the thumbnail that's going to say this is an altcoin live stream, no Bitcoin technical analysis. And then I will go through every single comment and I will go analyze everything that you throw at me. Well, I will try my best. Okay, I will try my best. It might be a long live stream. Okay. Great idea. Yes, that would be great. BTC is king. Danny, I agree. I do 95% of my trading on Bitcoin anyways, okay? But it is nice to see where some of the altcoins are at the moment. Sounds good. I'm invested in Tau and altcoins. Okay, so there's a lot of people looking at Tau at the moment. So that will definitely be on the list. Tau will definitely be on the list, okay? I might even do it tonight. Maybe tomorrow, but maybe tonight, okay? Let's see. Feels like the 382 was left untouched to build liquidity. Vessi, definitely. Vessi and Kati. What a username. Vessi and Kati, definitely. I mean, I really like the 0.382 here to the downside. You know, really like the 0.382. You don't understand how much I want this level to be tapped from a technical perspective. I want everyone that has been, you know, I'm trying to think like a market maker over here. I want everyone that's been building positions inside of the zone to get stopped out. I want at least the 382 to be tapped, and then I want to see continuation to the upside. But I also realize as a technical trader, I don't always get what I want. So perhaps it is a good idea to build a small position over here with a nice little tight stop loss, not risking more than what you can afford to lose. And if it does come to this area, you can add to your position. I don't know. You need to decide what strategy you want to apply, right? You need to decide. I'm going to play the breakouts with good risk management. I'll see. You know, if the alarm goes off and I'm in front of the chart, I'll make that trading decision. I'm already, you know, I've already been accumulating on some of my favorite altcoins like Ethereum. I've accumulated on Litecoin. I've accumulated some Fetch. I've accumulated some Doge. You know, so my spot bags are ready for if we do rock and roll to $100,000. My spot bags are ready. That's genius. Hi, Dewald. I started DCA again. Do you think it's a smart move? Catalyst plays. I can't tell you if it's a smart move, but what I can tell you what I am doing. I'm also DCAing. Right. And there are 6 altcoins where I am aggressively DCAing. Okay, and it's not to say that I don't have more altcoins in my portfolios. From a technical, structural perspective, it makes sense for me to start DCAing in these 6 altcoins. Okay, and I will talk about those 6 altcoins, and I have shared it here on the live stream in the altcoin live stream, and I'll show you why the structures looks so sexy. Okay, right, legends, remember to smash up that like button, and if you would like to continue supporting the channel so that I can continue bringing you guys the alpha, here are the exchanges that I use to trade on, the links down in the description. It costs you nothing extra. In fact, you get the best sign-up bonuses and the lowest trading fees by using the links down in the description. If you don't like Weeks, I've got Bluffin. If you don't like Bluffin, I've got Weeks. Right. Also 25% discount on the trading fees. You can win a Ferrari here with Weeks. Okay, Bluffin also has, I must actually just put it like I did over here. I must just put it here next to Bluffin. They also get 20% cash back on the money that you deposit in your features account. Okay, right, legends, thank you so much for joining the live stream. I've unfortunately run out of time. There's not much else to talk to, okay, unless I go through some altcoin requests, but I will do that in that dedicated altcoin live stream. So hope to see you all there, and until the next one, cheers for now.